So the madness that's going on in this car is the car caught smoke the other day, and it seemed to have been coming from the cluster. This is mine from my CRX, and the original one is not here. And there was a lot of open exposed wires because previous owner hacked it up to make the signals and a whole bunch of other crap work, because this isn't a right hand drive harness, this is a USDM harness just flipped over for the right hand drive. So the signals will be left, right, right, left. So the old one here is in the trunk, and there was just a lot of too many cut solder butt connected wires. So my buddy contacted Mo from EF Parts and acquired a new uncut 90 CRX SI harness, which I've already installed. On this side of the car, on the right side of this right hand drive, this harness was on the left side of the car. And on the left side of the car, the plug that plugs to the engine harness was attached all the way over to this side of the harness. And you can see that on this side of the harness, I didn't have to extend anything. It actually runs all the way to the front, and barely any wires would have to be extended. And the only thing I see that would probably need extension is the headlight, since it wouldn't reach it. But if you're running HIDs, you technically don't have to, because the HID kit is actually pretty long itself. So the HID, the headlights would go there, and then this part will be hanging out right here somewhere, and then obviously these plugs will plug right into it. So what I did to do that was, that plug I showed you inside earlier would be normally somewhere right here, because they sit in the engine bay together, then it'll be on a shock tower or whatever. But I opened up the loom and pulled that plug harness out of it. You can see where the loom used to be up to right here. I spliced it, opened it up, pulled this harness out, which led me to not pull that harness out this side with that harness. Instead, it kept it in here, and then I reloomed it, pulled it all the way out, and now it's extended all the way forward. So your LHD left side of the car is easier to do than it is on the right side of the car, because you're not extending any wires, just extending the harness to come out of the car. Alright, so I'm pretty much going to try and cover this side of the wire tuck harness, which is right hand drive flip USDM harness. So this is technically the right side on a left hand drive car. So the thing still applies the same way, what I'm about to do here. And I've pretty much fed it through the hole where the harness came out for the door, and fed it through there, and you can obviously see that some of these plugs are short, so these would have to be snipped, extended, and I'll show you that. So I'm going to start stripping the loom off the left side of the harness. Left hand drive guys, this would be on your right hand side. And I'm going to strip it all the way back over here, because the fan switch is now on this side, or the fan plug is on this side. So I'm strip it all the way to the back, so that way when I'm looming it back together, the fan wire is going to be with the harness instead of one harness and then a separate one on the side. So I'm going to be extending these one at a time, and if you have no clue with wires, electrical, I've seen a lot of people cut them right here and pull it out, then run them individually. I know the colors by heart, so I could technically do that and be alright when I'm wiring it back together. But if you don't know the color of the wires by heart, don't cut them right here all at once. All these plugs will come out of that little hole. Just gonna have to take a little bit of fishing and reeling. So I would suggest you do cut them one at a time, extend them to their destination, and then, leave them hanging. You'll see what I'll do with them as I go. So don't cut them all at once. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to do the first couple wires, and then fast forward the rest of it. My razor blade. Alright, so now all the wires are cut out of the loom or exposed out of the loom. Now I'm going to start extending these one by one. So if you have side markers or the JDM corners or anything where your corner light doesn't have two sockets, like the USD one have these two together, figure out where you want all these wires to go. This guy right here is I think this one is the parking light and signal, and then this guy is continuously on, so this is your parking light. And me, I am going to be running the on all the time to the side marker, which I'm going to have to pull this wire all the way back to where the side marker sits. So somewhere here is where this side marker light is going to sit. I'm going to zip tie it in place so it doesn't move all over the place until I get to it. So now side markers here, you don't necessarily have to cut it. This socket will fit into the side marker hole, and all you got to do is just shorten it like this, put a loom around it, electrical tape it, whatever you got to do to keep it short. This is the corner light. We'll try it real quick.
And that one down, it flashes, the bumper flashes, and then this one still stays on.
So as you can see, the corner light doesn't have to be extended because it is long enough. So you would have to extend the bumper, the horn, the headlights, and then the fan, which is not complicated at all. Now I'm not running these wires through the rail because it makes it more complicated when you're trying to diagnose a short or a wrong connection or whatever the case is. I'm running it on the outside, so that way it's easy accessible. So I'm gonna pre-mount it so that way I know how much I have to extend each wires to their destination. So I'm gonna first do the horn for you here and show you. That you should be doing this one by one to avoid confusion and wrong wires. And if something didn't work in between, it's something you did on that wire. It doesn't hurt to check, double check, like how I did with the lights, turn it on, make sure everything's working. Normally you would do this without the battery on, but I leave the battery on so I can check the lights and make sure they're working as I'm going and I'm not shorting it anywhere. But I prefer to use new wires, but since I don't have any more wires, I'm going to use the previous wires that I've used to tuck the old harness onto the new one. So I'm going to use these guys as an extension, and plus they're the same gauge wires as the ones over there. So I'm going to cut these, use these to extend those, and so the last wire here is the fan, and I've already ran it. It is raining right now. So here's the fan. I cut it enough to where it'll reach the other side of the fan switch, which is right here. This one should be easy because on the other end to the fan, it's already connected. I'm using the old fan plugs, so not going to be soldering that. And that is the end of the soldering madness. So here we have fan switch extended, headlight low beam, headlight high beam, extended the horn, extended the bumper, extended the corner, and they're all soldered, shrinked, and there they are. Make sure you ground this box. The relay, you can just have it mounted somewhere. The stupid GoPro died, and what I'm doing here is I'm looming it all up, running all the looms to all the wires that are going to have looms before I electrical tape them. I've already checked to make sure all the lights are working and make sure every light are going to where they're supposed to be going. and then I'm going to be electrical taping everything. So since my GoPro died and my phone memory has been filled, I didn't get to record the looming section of it, but it is done, loomed, zip tied into place, ground box mounted, grommet back on so the water don't go into the cabin. Skipped a lot of stuff, but the whole front is put back together. Don't mind my Jay's Racing hood with the custom hood scoops. Anyways, oh, what? S2000? No mames. Oh, wow. Lights on. Side markers on. Headlights. And there you have it. Wire tuck for EF.